here with Captain Snakeye DeGeorge. Actually, it's Jared DeGeorge. Yes. He is a Wild Weasel F-16 pilot, and we're here today at the Farnborough International Airshow. And he's going to tell me about what his, let's say, his mission kind of sort of, let's say, remit is as an F-16 Wild Weasel pilot. So, DeGeorge, take it away. Just introduce yourself, please.
Yep. So, Captain Jared DeGeorge, Snakeye from Spangdahlem Air Base in Germany. Our primary mission for us as the Wild Weasels is air-to-ground support. So we're the first in, the last out, providing real-time coverage and making sure that we're protecting the guys that are going in and actually employing ordnance on weapon systems or radar sites or facilities. And we're there to make sure that they're safe and protect them from the radar sites that are trying to get them.
So really what you're doing is basically knocking out the radar sites for the main bomber or fighter force coming in to, you know, do their business, I suppose.
Exactly, yeah. We fight our way in, we provide coverage with our arms, our air-to-ground missiles, in a sense the AGM-88 R missile, and provide coverage for the time, like I said, within a threat missile, threat MES, as we call it.
So you're basically flying alone half the time, aren't you?
We are.
So you don't feel lonely up there, do you?
We're alone, but we don't go alone ourselves. We've got at least a package of 4 aircrafts that will fly, providing coverage for the strikers as they're inside doing their job.
So there are other F-16s kind of protecting you then, in a way?
Not always. There could be, but we do provide our own self-escort and can do the job by ourselves. And it just depends on the complexity of the package. There could be other airframes out there protecting us, but primarily we do that on our own.
Okay, so how long have you been flying this fantastic airplane?
I've been flying the F-16 now for about 5 years, and I've been in the Air Force total combined about 11 years now.
And I think from a previous conversation you said you flew the T6. Is that an attack turboprop aircraft? Or?
It's the turboprops, the Air Force primary trainer that they use. Anybody that's going to go in the Air Force and start out is going to start out flying the T6. And so I was teaching those guys the basics on how to fly. It was my first assignment, and then now I'm under the F-16.
So it's not usually the T-38. I always imagine it's the T-38 you train on.
They do. There's different transitions, so you'll start out in the T6. The T-38 is more so for the guys doing the fighter-bomber track. So anybody that's going to fly an F-16 will go through a T-38 as their secondary airframe to learn how to fly more of an advanced fighter type aircraft.
So I guess you'd do this job for free, wouldn't you?
I would. It's great.
I can see the emblem that you've got. It's a Seek, Attack and Destroy.
Yes.
Is there any other sort of, let's say, anecdotal kind of titles that you could sort of...
Well, just our first in, last out.
Yeah, first in, last out. Yes. But, I mean, the history of the Wild Weasel pilots, I mean, it dates back to Vietnam when I suppose they started off with the F-105 Wild Weasels.
Yes.
You know, do you kind of share that same kind of lineage with them? The same sort of camaraderie?
We do.
Are you a special fraternity?
We are. We do consider ourselves that way. And we like to push it up. The bros are very, I can't even think of the word. I mean, the sense of pride that we have in executing our mission is phenomenal. And after we go out flying our missions, you know, just to hang out and socialize and talk about what it is that we did is pretty good.
So, do you consider yourself, I mean, how long do you think you would stay, let's say, flying F-16s? What would you do after your period in the Air Force? Or would you continue, say, upgrading to other airframes, for instance, if the F-16 is, say, rendered obsolescent by the F-35?
I'm pretty biased to this baby here,
you
so
like
I would fly her as long as I can.
You're faithful.
So, yes, she's
you don't play around.
So,
okay.
She's been good. She's a great aircraft to fly. She does the mission well. If I had the opportunity to fly other aircraft, I probably would I wouldn't turn it down, but I would stay flying this one as long as I could.
Okay, so before you became a Wild Weasel pilot, were you just generally a F-16 combat pilot where you would drop JDAMs, or were you?
I've always been a Weasel pilot.
Okay.
So after I went through the initial course to learn how to fly F-16s, I went straight into the Block 50s, which is the Weasel airframe, the F-16 that flies the Weasel mission. And that's where I started out with. Previously assigned to Misawa in Japan,
Right.
With the Block 50s with those guys, and then over here to Spangdahlem in Germany. So I've always been a Block 50 Weasel pilot, and I enjoy it and hope to stay one.
So this is an F-16C or D? Or?
This is the C. The C
Right.
models are the single seats. The D models will have the two-seat tandem.
Oh, okay.
They can do the same mission, but we use those a little bit more for training with newer guys.
So tell me, how did you get the name Snakeye as your call sign?
It's kind of a long story that goes back. My previous base, I was named something else, but I came to Spangdahlem, and the guys were looking to rename me when I got here. And they went with an old school Vietnam off of an old call sign, Snakeye, more so from the Snakeye bomb. Just a really old crusty.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's not.
I'm kind of an older, crusty old captain in a way, so.
Crusty old captain.
So they went with a Vietnam call sign that they thought sounded pretty neat off of the Snakeye bomb.
So, do you think the F-16 has a bright future in the United States Air Force, given...
Certainly hope so.
Oh, no, I presume it's going to be around. I was at the conference this morning about the F-16 update that they're going to do, like the new variant, which is the F-16V, I think. I can't remember what the designation is.
Yeah, I'm not sure the new variant there.
I don't think it's making the US Air Force, but do you think that it's a good few years before they kind of retire this aircraft?
My initial assessment would be that this aircraft's going to be around for a long while. So it's good at what it does. The cost is obviously a part of that, being it is a little bit cheaper to manufacture and fly. And I think that it'll be around for some time. At least the various missions that we can do. It's such a versatile airframe. It'll stay around, I think, hopefully for a long time.
And what about the A-10? I don't know if you could render an opinion on the A-10 Thunderbird, because they keep threatening to pull the plug on that particular airframe. Do you think it's on its way out, given that it's old technology?
That, I really don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure with that. So I think it's a good plane as well, but I honestly have no idea.
Going back to your missions, have you ever sort of been in a combat role situation? Have you participated in actual, let's say, combat missions?
I've flown combat missions before in my previous assignment I had.
Okay. And were they at night or during the day, or does it matter? Or?
It really doesn't matter.
Really?
We'll do it whenever we need to, whenever.
Okay. So, and what's the best thing about being at Farnborough here today then?
I think that just the experience to be able to meet new people and see the people that are actually going out there and advocating for the different systems and technology, trying to push their products out to the public, I think is pretty amazing. So I've got to meet some pretty interesting people out here, some pretty powerful people that actually have some money in their checkbooks, and I think those opportunities for follow-on, further down the line are pretty helpful.
So do you feel that you're an inadvertent ambassador for Lockheed Martin?
I'd like to think so.
So you're kind of a sales rep selling the F-16.
Yeah, we are. I think,
Okay.
obviously out here, supporting the mission, supporting the commander's intent, I think is a good thing. But just to be out here in front of the F-16s, showing that we're here, showing our support, I think it's a good thing.
I've always been intrigued by one thing. How do you refuel, given the fact I think the receptacles at the back of you, how do you sort of align the aircraft so it's correctly below a KC-135 or whatever it's called now?
Yeah, well, a lot of it's skill, and you just fly behind the other aircraft, the KC-135, the KC-10, refueling you, and you get to a visual perspective to where you think you need to be, and you let the boom operator do his work, and he'll actually make contact with your aircraft.
I'm not
a lot of sight pictures.
Okay. I'm not sure if you can say anything given the classification, classified nature of what you do, but have you ever been in a hairy situation flying the F-16? You've had an in-flight emergency, and that the plane was capable enough to bring you back home in one piece?
I haven't had one of those. No.
Okay, so you say this aircraft is really mature and it's It's as reliable as it can ever be.
I believe so.
Okay, all right. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Snakeye, or shall I say Jarrett.
Snakeye's fun.
That's fine. Anyway, we're here, as I said, at Farnborough International Airshow. I'm speaking to Capt DeGeorge, F-16 Wild Weasel pilot. Sound off. Your call sign. Go on. Snakeye.
Snakeye. First in.
First in, last out.
Last out.
All right. Thank you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.